final assignment in cultural psychology class is an UnEssay assignment. The UnEssay assignment is somewhat flexible and it allows you to engage with the material in a way that fits your interests best. And your UnEssay can focus on any course-related topic you would like, including topics we've covered in class or even ones that are inspired by our class content. It certainly has to relate to cultural psychology. Generally, the topic needs to present some new learning on your part. In other words, an in-depth exploration of a class topic that reaches outside of your own culture as well. If you have questions about class topics, I'm always happy to answer. And there's also many resources available for you, including this short video, but also there's some documents and such in the course resources section of the course in Blackboard. There's some examples of UnEssay assignments from previous classes, and also some examples of what could be UnEssay assignments from other sources, videos, for example. So an UnEssay could be you could create a podcast or a video presentation, and there's some videos that are good examples. These are linked in the course resources folder. There's also some other sources for where you can get topics there. So again, the goal of an essay is to allow you to engage with a course topic or topics in a way that interests you, and it must relate to cultural psychology, should go beyond the basics. In other words, if we've talked about it in class or you read about it, it should go deeper than, you should be exploring it deeper than just what's described in the textbook or in my lectures. But the format is anything you want. What you'll turn in the end is the UnEssay itself, in whatever format you choose, and a project statement and a self-assessment turned in at Blackboard. So when I say any format, some people, for example, might create an art piece, and although it's hard to turn an art piece in at Blackboard, you could, for example, take a photo of that and turn it in at Blackboard. So here's some example formats for the UnEssay. A knitted blanket. I received one last year that knitted in some cultural, it was fascinating. It was beautifully knitted. But anyway, paintings, children's books, narrated PowerPoints, a podcast, a video interview, a script for a 10-minute play or a research paper, comic book, series of cartoons, music videos, songs, web pages, a series of infographics, a board game. Those are all potential ideas of what the format could look like. But whatever you create should be accompanied by a 2 to 3 page project statement that describes how you created that, what you learned, and a 1 to 2 page self-reflection as well. Topics, again, can go in many different directions. So it could be something sort of specific, like a particular culture-bound syndrome, like cysto. It could be something like a deeper exploration of parenting styles, such as Jamaican parenting styles, mental health care in Russia, death celebrations around the globe, underage marriage in the Caribbean, gender roles in different cultures within a country, for example. The influence of culture on humor style and perception, the comparison of insulting gestures across cultures. These are just some ideas of topics. So let me show you a couple of examples. This is a sample UnEssay I received that was a painting. Of course, it was accompanied by a project statement and a reflection, but the painting you can see here, and I'll read you the beginning of the project statement. So she said, "For my UnEssay assignment, I decided to complete a painting. I have a strong love for painting, and I also have a strong opinion against sexual assault. I base the themes of my painting around sexual assault and culture, which includes 4 women and 4 Black figures behind them. All the women in my painting are from different cultures, since sexual assault happens in all walks of life, but in different degrees and in different ways in different cultures." So her project statement went on to describe 4 different examples in different cultures of how sexual assault is happening and the degree in which it happens in these different cultures. So you can see she created a painting. She explored in this case, in 4 different cultures, and wrote about that in a strong project statement. So it was very moving. And then, of course, there was a self-reflection on top of that. So this is one example of an UnEssay project. Another UnEssay project here is represented in this small painting that I received as the UnEssay itself. And in this case, she put in this painting the representation of 6 different death rituals from 6 different places in the globe. And then she wrote up a project statement that described each of those with strong scholarly citations, and of course a reflection. So this was another sort of art related. It's easier for me to show you these art related ones, of course. I also think it's important to look at not strong projects. In fact, a project that received a failing grade. And so I can tell you a little bit about why. In this case, this was the project. This is a picture I received that was accompanied by a short write-up on the basics of parenting styles. So we did cover parenting styles, of course, in the earlier, and parenting styles, that's the beginning of a topic, but as you can see, I don't see anything representing anything about cultures or different cultures in this. In fact, it doesn't even say much about parenting styles beyond sort of the basics, so it didn't go deeper into exploring parenting styles. So the art is, I don't want to judge people on the quality of their art. That's not what I'm doing here. But there was no strong project statement and no exploration of culture, and so this received unfortunately, a failing grade. There's also not much of a reflection involved. So again, I have these videos linked, and I urge you to check those out as ideas. Some of them, like one is a class project from people who are looking at cultural interaction in Central Asia, but it would have been, that kind of thing would have been a great idea as an essay in this class as well. We looked at the cultural identity and ELF video in this class earlier, and that's another great example of maybe looking at cultural examples in movies, for example, and putting that together as a presentation. So grading, of course, there's 80 points possible. A good UnEssay will look at an active engagement with a topic. That topic will explore cultural psychology, and it will show that there is some significant time and effort devoted to creating something thoughtful. But how you choose, what medium or what format you choose, is up to you. But it should match your UnEssay in the end. The project element, should make sure that you find the core concepts in cultural psychology, and of course it should come with an in-depth project statement and a well thought out reflective essay. Finally, this is another UnEssay I received. This is a art piece that was focused on susto, and you'd need to read the project statement to read about what's represented in this art, but it was well described, the representation, and came with a beautiful example. So I hope this is helpful in giving you some ideas about where to go and how to create your awesome UnEssay assignment.